Nice.
You guys can take a look at it.
God, I'm really glad it's not my game being seen. The first thing people would see of our series is fucking me
Yeah,
dying.
there is video,
Really too
Suze.
Oh yeah.
There's video going this way.
Welcome everybody.
Right there.
Welcome to
Welcome.
us being bad at video games.
Okay.
Terrible opinion on the internet.
Oh no, we have great opinions.
Okay.
Everybody else
I'm
is
going to get a
just
drink really
wrong.
quick, guys, and then we'll get this show started, right?
Yeah.
Now that it's up and running.
Sounds good.
We're
We
old
all
as
play
fuck.
together in the same
We're
party.
old as fuck.
Fire team.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, we should. Yeah. Alright. I still need to run challenge, like once or twice more.
I'll run. That I feel like that's the perfect activity for this.
Is that okay? And or we could play out our trials card, which I don't think will
That's a-
take long.
That's a little bit more serious, but I'd be down to do
I know
that too.
If we can get a win though, we can get some armor.
All right. I got a Vanguard package to get. They better give me a gun, these jerks.
All right, guys. You want to party up?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, let me
going to
just
the
finish.
tower.
I'll join you in a second. I'm
Okay.
Here, I'll join Jamie.
I'm just finishing the daily.
All right, we got people watching, which is scary. Hello.
Sweet.
Oh, there's two people. Well, I'm one of them, I think.
And probably Suzanne's the other one. Wait, what's the URL?
Oh,
Uh,
Suzanne's watching? I feel so much more pressure now.
YouTube.com/Sojin.
okay.
Professor Star Wars is watching. I'm gonna feel like I have to have halfway intelligent points, not just my usual nonsense.
Now, have you met me, dude? She married me. She'll be fine with you. Remember that. Remember that whenever you're worried.
I know, but still, pressure's on. Someone smart is watching.
Lots of dregs.
Okay. Well, here we go, guys. I did not create my talking
Suzanne's
points.
just-
I don't know about you guys.
Points are for
Steve,
suckers.
Your talking points are called whiskey. You put them in a glass.
Nice.
Drink them.
That's right.
Nice. All right, guys.
Oh my god.
So, for those of you that are watching, here is the inaugural episode of Three Guys, or Three Boys. That's right. It's Three Boys now.
And a baby.
Three boys.
The old boys.
No, just three boys. We decided just three boys, right?
Did we just? I don't know. What the hell we decided.
It was mostly three boys just because you guys wanted to match an old movie called Old Boy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude. Old
dude.
boy.
Oh, that's right. It was Old
Not that
Boys.
old.
It was supposed to be Old Boys. That's
Isn't
right.
it crazy?
Oh,
It was Old
Vanguard
Boys,
packages. Quit giving me 330 Spectre marks, bastards.
which we're going to have to review at some point. Old Boys, a
Old
movie.
boy? Dude, Old Boy's great.
Yep.
Oh my God, I don't know if I want to watch that movie again.
You're going to
Oh no, come on, that movie rules.
you're going to have to now.
I mean,
I can't.
I don't know if I
believe you
need to
haven't
watch
seen-
it again.
I can't believe you haven't seen that, Steve.
No. And from the sound of it, I'm glad I haven't.
No, it's good. You'll like it. It's crazy.
Okay.
Fucking this wacky ass Korean movie.
All right, we're waiting on you, sir. We're waiting on you, Luke.
It is a
Alright, I'm
a
coming, I'm
wacky
coming.
ass Korean movie. That is more than accurate. There's a period of time when I was super into Japanese animation, and ooh, I got a deal breaker. And I was on some forums. Ooh, this could be good. Crowd control, focused fire, small bore.
I thought you had
Might be a pretty.
sworn off focus fire.
Yeah, but for PV, what's that other thing? PVE. Yeah, that's the one.
That other thing.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess our final name
Yeah,
was
join-
Old
join
Boys. So I should probably change that.
We're
Old
like Pet Boys, only we
Old
don't-
Boys.
We don't fix cars. We
Yeah.
just watch
Yeah,
Movies.
a
We
movie
don't really
and a
fix
video game.
anything at
Yeah,
all.
we don't. Well, I was just fixing stuff for the last 40
Steve
minutes.
fixes all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but any of worth. I mean, anything of worth.
Who would
Steve
it?
actually fixes cars. Steve could be an actual pet boy.
That's true. I have done that
That's actually
before.
True. That is true.
So why don't we? How about we do this for the start off? Why don't we introduce ourselves? Tell us what we actually do in real life instead of just playing video games, and we'll go from there. So Jamie, why don't you start off since you actually have an interesting life?
Well, I feel like that's fairly debatable. I'm Jamie. I'm a meathead. I grew up in Chicago, then lived in Wyoming, and now I live in San Diego. I work for the Olympic training, or for the Olympic Committee, the U.S. Olympic Committee. I am a strength and conditioning coach, which means I get to wear pajamas all day and swear at athletes. So I'm very professional and horribly mature.
That's what they need.
Right on. I like it. Luke, did you grab everything you needed so we can go to orbit?
Yes, I can't think of anything I need in the tower, I guess.
And then Luke, why don't you introduce
Ain't
yourself?
Nothing that won't be here when I get back. My name's Luke. Until recently I lived in Los Angeles, but now I live in Austin, Texas. I am an editor, currently of a documentary, but hopefully of, I don't know, not this documentary sometime soon.
Yeah.
So I can spend more time eating meat and going to the swimming hole because it's about to get very hot here.
So let's
Shit,
get.
wait, I gotta switch. I gotta switch guys.
Oh, all right.
Sorry, after all that, I know.
I think we should kind of hold him to the fact that he eats meat and how often he eats meat.
I ate a lot of meat.
I think that's
Is
a
that
personal
bad?
issue. I don't know. I was just gonna say that
Trying to turn that into like a dick joke.
I am.
Honestly, that would not have occurred to me.
That's
It was
because
more
you're.
the tone of voice that kind of gave it away for me.
It's because you don't hang out with a bunch of high school students all day.
Teenagers?
Yeah.
Mm, that's fair.
All right, we have to go get a card. I think.
Oh yeah, I need a card too.
Everybody have.
So I guess I'm the last one to introduce myself. I'm Steve. I'm a high school teacher in San Diego. I lived in San Diego for the last 15 years. I teach physics, video production, and a little bit of everything. So we'll see how that goes. I am the least interesting one in the group, and also the one that makes usually made fun of the most, which works out well.
But
Well,
also the best at Destiny PvP.
Well, and
you're the
also
best.
and also
So we got to bring you down a peg.
that's
in our
true.
group. The only one who's gone to the lighthouse because the rest of us are opposed to LFG and bad otherwise. So
You know what's also kind of funny? I'm also the only one that's been classified by their boss directly as an asshole.
well, that's not necessarily true.
Well, that's true.
But my
I can
boss,
confirm I've
when
never
he
been
says
called an
that
asshole
is,
by my boss,
he
but-
says it in like a loving way.
He needs you to be an asshole, probably,
Yeah, you know.
to whip all those Olympic athletes into shape.
Yeah, but if you're a coach,
Well,
it,
sometimes I yell at his you know, counterparts in the company.
but if
Oh,
you're
I see.
but if you're a coach,
Because
you're meant to be an asshole.
Transfer locked.
Like that's your job.
Well, I have a story about that.
Okay, go for it before we get
There's,
into everything else.
There's there's an older coach who was out here working with me for a year, and he's in Colorado Springs now. He's a good buddy of mine. He actually won a Stanley Cup ring with the Tampa Bay
Oh, nice.
Lightning when he was their strength coach. But Maggie and I were over at their house one time, and Maggie says to him, "Coach," because she calls him Coach, because I call him Coach, because you know what else would I call him? She goes, "Coach, how is it the two people who hate people so much can work with people?" And he gets real serious and he looks at her and he says, "Well, you know, as a strength and conditioning coach, you're kind of expected to be an asshole."
There you go.
There you go.
Maggie just went, "Well, okay."
And you were like, "Yep, that sounds like my husband."
That's pretty much normal.
Yeah, that's. Yep.
I like it.
All right, are we ready?
I think I got. Yeah, I'm good to go. I don't know if Luke is.
I'm embarrassed that all our many viewers' first exposure to me playing Destiny is going to be as a warlock. That feels wrong to me.
Well, all of our viewers are 0 currently, so not even your wife stayed interested.
No, I see one. We've got one watching.
Wait, let me
right
go.
now.
Let me go log Suzanne in. I'll be right back.
We gotta, yeah.
Hey, what's the what are the things on right now? What are the
Brawler, super kill bonus, and ironclad. I don't know what ironclad.
super
is.
kill bonus?
Enemies have more shields.
Oh, so I should go Stormcaller then.
Yeah, you should go Stormcaller with your Juju. Do you have a highlight Juju?
I don't have a high level Juju.
The sucker ass.
Yeah.
Just the shit.
Okay. Oh, we're waiting for Luke to get back.
Actually, you know what I'm gonna do because I want to have some fun. I'm going to actually just run my Peregrine Greaves as a striker.
So I'm gonna, what's kind of funny. I'm just gonna start off with, because we're reviewing video games and movies, and obviously we're playing Destiny right now. So,
'Cause it's awesome.
because it's awesome. I just want to talk about Destiny. So, have you guys had any game in your life like Destiny where it's kind of taken over your guys' lives like this?
No. Not to this extent.
Also, for me, no. I played World of Warcraft like the first 6 months it was out, and I enjoyed
Prison
it,
of
but I sort of got to the end game,
Welcome.
and I didn't really have like
Do not
a
fail,
community of people on the team I was
Guardian.
playing with, and so I think that's what prevented me from getting super duper into that. But I had you nice fellas at just the right or just the wrong time,
Round
depending on how
one.
you look at it with respect to Destiny. And so, yeah, no, this game offers the perfect combination of cool gameplay and cool looking shit to collect,
Stalker of
and just a good way to keep in touch
the
and like,
Overmind
talk shit with your buddies.
Minotaur.
Exactly. That's I never played World of Warcraft or any of those MMOs or anything, so nothing that would hold me for a long period of time. And then, probably the closest I got was playing Borderlands 2 with some of my buddies I grew up with. We played that for at least a year, probably over a year actually, which is a great game, by the way, for everybody who's watching, which is no one. So for you too, Borderlands 2, the game is fucking awesome.
Oh, I
Borderlands 2 is-
enjoyed Borderlands. Borderlands is a good game.
In many ways, a precursor to
Yes. So,
oh, fuck.
So
yeah, it's mostly because all you assholes are on.
Yeah, the way I put it is kind of like this is kind of our bar, This is where we kind of sit down
Oh yeah.
and we talk to Norm. For those of you that are older,
Yeah.
Wait, who's Norm?
yeah, I don't get it. Who's Norm? And it's kind of the way I see it. I actually had a similar.
Oh, totally.
I had a similar game experience in college where it kind of took over my life was with Counter-Strike back in the day. I don't know if you guys played that.
I did play some Counter-Strike.
You did? And and I felt that game took over my life. And what I like about this game more than Counter-Strike is actually the feel of it is a heck of a lot better than for like PvE is just amazing. It feels like you are powerful and like it directly corresponds to how much skill that you actually have,
Oh yeah. Well, and just the 6-player raids, like I don't think I've never played a game in terms of like the amount of coordination needed between that many people, and like the way they designed the challenge is to be like just absurdly, infuriatingly hard, but not too hard. Like, it's a good amount of punishing hard most of the time. Yeah, man, I think of it like it's like nerd golf. It's like instead of going out and playing the links, shooting the shit and arguing about which club to use, play Destiny and arguing about which club.
Or shader.
Or shader. Trick question.
That's right.
Spaceman Barbie.
Spaceman
Yes, I mean,
Barbies.
it should match because here I am with my purple Juju and my purple shader.
I still enjoy my pink.
Jamie is
You know, but you are right. I mean, a lot of this has got to deal with the kind of camaraderie that we've kind of formed among all of us. You know, because like I mean, just
Yeah,
as
shout out to
just
Club of Villains. What's up, Club of Villains?
Yeah,
we're the best
what's up?
clan of like 7 or 8 people.
well, you know,
of old people.
you know what's kind of also interesting is the whole idea that all of us don't know each other really all that well.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I know you guys pretty well now, but that's true. In real life, you guys, yeah. This is the first time I've had like legit internet friends that I really haven't spent much time with IRL.
That's true. We did have a Doughboy experience between Jamie and I, which was everything I hoped for and then
That
some.
sounds really kind of like fat and erotic.
You guys ate meat with Doughboy? You know what I'm saying?
It was. I had a hot dog. I can't lie.
Phallic.
Alright, I gotta sleep first. Alright, so we love Destiny.
Yep.
I did. I have.
Good.
Well, do we want to get on with this, or should I tell a story about having internet friends?
Yeah, tell the story about internet friends. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, so when I was into anime, I was on this bootleg webpage that had a forum, right? So I bought all those fan subbed anime DVDs back in the day. It was I think it was called AnimeDiscount.net was the name of the forum, and it just turned into like the most ridiculous place, and all these like weirdos became friends. And one of the girls lived in Indianapolis. This was when I was still in Chicago. And her and her friends were coming to Chicago for a horror convention. So I met them downtown
They are
for the horror convention.
You
And that was the first time I ever met someone that I met on the internet in real life.
return to
And that was
Guardian.
weird. It was cool, but it was weird. So meeting Doughboy was like old hat. I told my wife that, and she thought I was ridiculous.
Now, did you guys? What was your? That's actually kind of an interesting segue because what did you guys ever do any of like the old school online gaming, like other than like I don't know, what was it called, MSN Games, I think, back in the day. Did you guys ever hear that?
Nope, I did not. No, I don't know what you're talking about.
No.
Because I got into
Everything, as always.
Yeah, that let us.
because I kind of got into.
Wait, so what games were you playing on there, Steve?
I was playing Rainbow Six.
Round 2.
So Rainbow Six was like the first really multiplayer game that I really got into back in the day, and it was I did it on the MSN Games forums. I was actually with a group of people called Abstract Zero.
The Defile thirsts for your
Sounds like
Oh,
an
dude,
intense
Xylo.
plan.
We should have paused to introduce
It is filed. Here, I got these guys.
I used to play like in like the mid '90s. Ever heard of a mush or a mud? There were these like online role playing games.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. Muds. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went through a brief phase where I joined a mush based on Dragon Riders of the Fern. You know those ones?
Interesting.
No.
And I was like a fucking Dragon Rider. Oh, Jamie, shame on you, man.
You see,
Sorry, dude.
I did something.
Am I losing nerd cred right now?
I did something
I listened to
similar.
those books.
I did something for Star Wars actually, and I was a captain of a Victory Star Destroyer.
Yeah. Psylocke.
Well, we'll leave some of these stories for later. So why don't we get into the movie? Especially since we're kind of finishing off.
Yeah.
Since we're finishing off this a little faster than I thought we were going to. Why don't we just start off with your general thoughts on Civil War? And by the way, this is going to be a spoiler review for those of you that are watching. So,
Extremely spoilery.
yeah, extremely spoilery.
So I have to say, I was looking forward to being these buddy duddies that screamed like overrated.
Wait, say that again. I didn't hear you.
Because
I didn't hear you.
I really fully expected to be, was looking forward to being the one who was like, man, that shit's overrated. Because that's how I feel about, I would say, almost every Marvel movie that comes out. Like, I think they're okay. I'm not gonna see them like, I always sort of really like. I felt that way about Guardians of the Galaxy.
Really?
The last Captain America movie, the first Captain America movie. Like basically every Marvel movie except for the original Iron Man and like Avengers 1. But I'm forced to eat my words because I thought it was so I'm ready to other than Spider-Man continues looking so like weird and unfinished. So like, I don't understand why the CG is so bad on the Spider-Man suit. But other than that, I really don't have any complaints.
So, really, you had complaints about the Spider-Man CG, huh? I don't agree with that.
Yes.
I don't agree with that.
I saw it in the trailer and I thought like, have you ever seen like a making of visual effects video where they'll like show some effects from the movie and then pause it and like wipe over it a couple times and show like the different layers of like the modeling and the lighting and the shading and all that stuff?
Right.
Like, I literally thought Spider-Man looked like one of those videos where they go through, like, pass 2 of 5, and then they just didn't do any more passes. And, like, they just stopped, and they're like, okay, that's like, it just looks so fakey to me for some reason. Which is so weird, because, like, the rest of the effects of the movie are good, like, uniformly, and obviously those people have their shit together, and uniformly good and stuff. I don't know, something about Spider-Man. That was super weird looking.
Can you bring your mic a little closer?
I think it was mask.
Really, I don't know. I think I don't know. I'll get back to that. I guess I'll jump in. I thought it was a fantastic movie. I thought, and I'll get into this a little bit later, but I think it's everything that Batman vs Superman should have been.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And really what it comes down to is that every single character had a motivation. Every single character. I mean, really the weakest character that didn't really have motivation was probably Spider-Man. But the way that they handled him in the battles and everything like that, like, it was on freaking point. So,
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Well,
but I love the movie. I absolutely love the movie. I thought it was really strongly made. The characterization, fantastic. Acting was on point, as much as it can be in a superhero movie. And
yeah.
yeah, so, but we'll jump into some of those. Jamie, what'd you think?
I enjoyed it thoroughly. I'm not sure what exactly I expected going into it, to be honest with you. I super enjoyed that storyline in the comic books. So I don't feel like I went into it expecting the same storyline.
Ooh, I'm down.
I don't know. I didn't leave it with the same kind of like giddiness, I suppose I would say, that I did with the original Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, or first Iron Man. And I think that's just because it was so much of the movie was very serious. Those were a lot more, for lack of a better expression, like fun. And
Right.
I don't mean that as like a slight, you know, that's just like
Your victory tells the
kind of how it seemed to me. So
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. That's one of the reasons I
Go
was
back
looking
to
to not like it
Erlock.
as much is because, like, when those movies tend to, the more serious, quote unquote serious they get, the less I tend to like them. But like, I thought this one was done, like Steve said, it was like, it was focused on, like, it was super personal, like all the character motivations.
Right.
Where like it was all focused on that and not like the last Captain America movie, like, I don't give a fuck, like, who in the government is in Hydra, like some person I've never met before and will never meet again, like.
So you
I
didn't
don't
like the
care.
shield
Really, I
tie-ins?
just don't.
You really didn't like the shield tie-ins?
No, none of that shit just bores me to tears. But I want to ask, I want to ask Jamie, because I meant to bring this up and it's a good segue. I've never read the comic books on which these are based, but I understand that in the comics, the roles were reversed, right? It's Captain America who wants to, like, kowtow to the regulation, and Iron
no.
Man.
Oh, no.
go rogue.
No. It's Iron Man. It's correct. But what's the more interesting part?
of Oryx.
Well, let this go through, and then because the audio is all screwed up right now. It's very loud noises. But in the comic books, it's the same way as it is in the movie. But what's more important is actually the role Spider-Man plays in everything. Because Spider-Man is actually the one that originally joins Iron Man, like in the movie. But then he switches sides to Cap's side. Ooh, that was a
But
waste.
I mean,
Yeah.
that aspect of it's very different, right? Because in this Spider-Man, in the movie, Spider-Man is a character, and in the comic book, obviously,
He was a much
well
more
established.
hero.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was
okay,
more of...
So, interesting. So I was misinformed then.
Yeah, whoever said that is a
Like-
fool.
Yeah, completely wrong.
Or maybe like I don't know if I just imagined that or what. I just like I guess maybe I just intuited that like Captain America would be into like rules because he's Captain America
how our-
and Tony Stark
about
wouldn't
how our-
because he's Tony Stark.
Think about how our grandpas regulation. Greatest generation. They don't like that regulation.
Yeah. You know, yeah, it's... And it's
Why
more...
would you want that regulation?
Old people do hate the UN. That's true.
But you know, even with that being said, like they stayed true to the comic in certain aspects, and then at the same time, kind of made it grow a little bit. I didn't have a chance to read the new Civil War. Did you read the new Civil War yet, Jamie?
I have not read the new Civil War. I'm still behind on my comic book reading because of all my Destiny playing.
Because I wasn't sure if the new Civil War kind of followed this kind of same storyline, just because you know they're just trying to sell comics just to sell comics.
I hope it doesn't. 'Cause it's too close of a rehash of,
Oh,
the government wants to do a thing, and
Right.
Captain America's against it, Iron Man's for it, blah, blah, blah. Like, that would be horribly lazy.
Well,
Keep it Marvel.
it's not like Marvel doesn't do that already, so not saying much.
Well, it's too soon.
Now this is kind of interesting. So like you have Marvel, who's doing such a fantastic job with their movies. Like obviously we all really enjoyed Captain America, and then on the other hand you have DC, who's just doing a horrible job in my opinion with their movies. I mean, I know Jamie watches Arrow, Flash, etc.
Yes.
And I'm a big fan of Flash and Captain of Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow. What about you, Jamie?
I have not watched a single episode of Legends of Tomorrow.
What about the other two?
I like them. I'm not, there's probably only a couple TV shows I will try to watch anymore. And those two and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are probably the only three that I make a point of watching. So yeah, I like them enough to do that.
So what's really interesting is that, so in my opinion, the DC properties for the TV shows, they're really well done. They're extremely well done. And why do they keep blowing it on the movies? Like, because after the Batman
Well, I will
trilogy,
say-
it seems like it's been all crud.
Outside of the X-Men, make the argument that Marvel was blowing on the movies because they let, what was it? 20th Century Fox has X-Men, Sony has or had, I don't know the details of that, the Spider-Man.
Yeah, they still.
So it's only the properties that they have complete control over.
You see,
Outside of X-Men.
there you go. I was about to say that. See, I'm a big fan of the new X-Men series. I'm not a big fan of the old one. I'm one of the few people that would probably say I did not like when Bryan Singer was in charge of it
Well,
beforehand.
I don't know. I mean, the first movie I thought was good. I thought the second one was better. The third one was kind of meh.
Wait, you like the second one?
Yeah, I did like the second one.
X2?
I hated that. I wasn't a fan of it.
Oh no, dude, that movie's awesome.
I did not like the way that they handled. I'm down. I did not like the way they handled Phoenix at all.
Well, okay. But that was more of a X-Men 3 thing.
X-Men 3 is definitely better. Don't die.
Oh, don't worry.
Yeah, no, I'm actually overall. I mean, 3 was kind of bad for overall, I'm a big fan. I would say on average, I like them more than the Marvel Studios movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of them, man. I loved Days of Future Past. I love like 1 and 2. I think are both pretty good.
Oh, you see, I liked. No, don't get me wrong. I liked the new ones, the new X-Men series, but I detested the old ones. I didn't like them at all. Like the one with I can't think of the actors' names.
I think they've gotten better. Like, so my thing with the X-Men movies is that was kind of like the original, the beginning of all of this, right? Of people being like, oh, comic book movies can be not
Well, that's
retarded and
why.
terrible. Oh no, I said
I mean,
retarded.
that's why Fox.
They're gonna think I'm the worst person ever.
just
But just bad, right?
Well, the
So they got-
reason Fox
they've all
has the
gotten
rights to
better.
X-Men is that Marvel Studios didn't exist yet.
Right.
Well, yeah.
They've gotten better at outside of 3. I feel like they've done a better job with their Fox has done a better job with the X-Men movies as they've kind of gone along outside of 3.
They
X-3
are
or
dead.
Last Stand or whatever.
Well, Singer's been pretty much in charge the whole time too. Like he
For the
still.
X
Days of
Future
Future
Past
Past
was great. First Class was fun.
First Class was much better than
Yeah.
than Future whatever Future's Past, in my opinion.
I mean, I love Ian McKellen as Magneto, even if he's, like playing the super old Magneto.
Yeah, well, Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen are a league on their own, but you can't go wrong with what are their names? Luke, help me out here.
McAvoy,
James McAvoy and Mr. Pretty Boy. What's his name?
Michael Fassbender.
Fassbender, who supposedly is
Dude,
well
those two need
endowed.
to make out.
Is extremely well endowed, supposedly.
What kind
Dude,
of a
there's that-
comment is that? My goodness.
Oh
It's
come
turning
on,
into
dude.
a
There's
creepy-
that scene in
What?
that scene in First Class where they're like standing outside and they like almost make out and they both get boners and like their magnetic boners like turn that giant satellite towards them.
All right, I super missed that part. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that again.
Oh, dude, come on.
So we didn't get a
Oh,
chance to talk about this.
Missed
So
that part.
the DC series, let's look at everything past Batman has been a complete cluster, in my opinion. Like, I feel like
Batman,
I feel like Warner Brothers felt
the
like
Nolan trilogy.
after the Nolan trilogy. So everything past the Nolan trilogy. I feel like Warner Brothers was like, "Oh, look, sad, depressing darkness. made money. So therefore, let's continue doing that. And
Well,
it doesn't work.
The problem is
I
they
mean,
had
Batman
Zack Snyder
is
do it
sad and
instead.
depressing.
You think Batman's sad and depressing?
okay.
He's supposed to be a picture
Well,
of hope.
generally speaking, I think Batman. You can use the Batman's. Well, it kind of ends that way, right?
I don't think so. I don't think it
Like,
even ended that way. I mean, that was
I
just
think it does.
depressing.
I think it did. I don't agree, but
Done your part.
I think that you can have very dark Batman stuff, and it works because Batman's, that's
Dark.
kind of his character.
Yeah.
I mean, he fucking hangs out in the dark all the time. For crying
Right.
out loud. Of course, it's going to be a dark movie. Like,
No, that makes sense.
the whole thematically, like, okay, maybe it ends up being a story of hope, but the reason he exists is
You are
fucking dark as shit. Like,
is still
so that's fine, but Superman should not be a dark story, for crying out
Oh,
loud.
I
That's
agree.
like,
It's totally wrong.
apple pie, America,
Yeah,
all that.
I completely
Donald
agree.
Trump, the whole thing. I mean, that's
Ah.
Superman.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that
Yeah,
he's
I mean,
supposed to be
The
yeah.
problem is Zack Snyder. The problem is Zack Snyder
Good
is
hunter.
not good at making movies.
That's
Exactly.
exactly it. That's exactly it, and that's the reason why I went into this
He's
this
definitely
movie
not good at
saying,
doing like dark.
Welcome to the reef.
300 was cool though.
well,
Oh, dude,
Three-
I love
300 was good
And like,
because-
I used to be kind of a Zack Snyder apologist because I liked 300, and like his Dawn of the Dead remake is okay. And like even his Watchmen has its moments, I think.
but I
but,
just
like-
but listen to what you're saying. Listen to what you're saying. Every single movie that you like from Zack Snyder is one that he's emulating someone else.
where calamity goes. I imagine you won't be
Oh yeah,
far
no,
behind.
the guy like
Sure.
doesn't. He has like 3 tricks, and he just like shoehorns them onto everything. And like Jamie said, for Superman, it's a really really bad fit.
Interaction.
Oh, but my question is, why does Warner Brothers stick so much faith in this guy when obviously he's doing such a poor job representing the characterizations of these characters?
Scientology, I think, is the answer. Oh, because the movies
They make a
make
lot
a
of
ton
money.
of money. Yeah. And like literally, dude, trust me, the studios, having worked for them, like those people do not care whether the movies are good. It's like a real estate deal for them. They just wanted to make money. And like Batman versus Superman, like everyone had it, like
I'm good, by
everyone
the
loved
way.
hating on it, but it made a shitload of money.
Level 41. You want to do level 41 Prison of Elders, or just do it 2 more times?
I gotta do one more challenge.
I gotta do it 2 more times.
Okay, that's fine.
Challenge mode is perfect for us to just talk nonsense.
So,
Yes.
We're kind of off topic though. We should get back to Civil War.
well, I think that's
Well,
but this
it
is
does connect in that the first thing that came out of Steve's exactly right. I came out of Civil War, and the first thing I said to my wife was, "God, I feel bad for Zack Snyder because like Civil War does like exactly what his Batman versus Superman movie was supposed to do.
Yeah.
It just does it so much better.
that's exactly it.
Exact same.
That's exactly it. So like
so
because
funny.
like
That's fair.
everything that okay, so like the whole point of Batman versus Superman is like Batman feels like there's this injustice that Superman destroyed the city, right? And he feels like he's compelled to fix it because he failed because when he made a phone call to the building that there was aliens attacking outside that he had to tell them to get out. When really, if you see aliens outside your window, you should get the heck out of the building, right? I mean, that's like the city's being destroyed, and like he feels like he's responsible because he didn't make that phone call soon enough. I mean, it's so stupid, and even the loose tie-in to the guy that gets paralyzed was like, why do you feel like you're so responsible for this guy? Like, it's so loosely based, and then when you get to the whole point of Martha, and that's what stops him from killing him. Come on, like it made no sense at all. Like it made no sense at all. Whereas you look at Civil War, you know, they've set
I
it.
understand the motivation.
You understand the motivations, like, and basically they've set it up over periods of time. And I think the only heavy-handed moment that Civil War had was with Tony Stark and the I didn't get her name, but it was the African American lady handing him the picture of her son. Like, I felt like that was the only time that it
Oh,
was
yeah.
really heavy-handed.
Who worked in the State Department or whatever.
Yeah,
The Overmind.
and that was
Yeah,
the
I mean, and even in that case, like, you had, like, Robert Downey Jr., like, that's what makes him so good, is he can kind of pull that shit off. Like, he can do kind of the good stuff and the serious stuff, and, I mean, for me, that's the key, is that, like, the thing that makes Civil War so good, despite the fact that it's sort of, like, dark and about dark stuff, is that it's, like, all the serious shit is served up with, like, good, healthy shit, like, fun stuff and levity, like, stuff that's there to, like,
Sure.
and you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Paul Rudd was so goddamn funny.
oh my god, he was
Hilarious.
for me he
And the
stole the
kid who
movie.
did- Break up.
Spider-Man did a good job.
Yeah, the Spider-Man kid was great too. Yeah, and so by like you can't do, and that's what I think Zack Snyder literally does not understand about storytelling. Is like you can't when you're doing serious, you don't just like make things fucking serious and have Hans Zimmer play blah over and over every scene of your 2.5 hour movie because like people just get bored of that shit. Like it's just too much. You just shut down. And like with Civil War, it's like for every moment there was like a dark fucking emo moment. There was like an equal number of really legitimately hilarious, funny moments. You know what I mean? And like candid moments of like you could see their friendship for each other, and like and yeah, like you said, Steve, they're like characters that have had several movies, like relationships built up, and like. So you sort of understood where they were coming from. Like, just sort of arbitrarily putting Batman and Superman in one movie and then being like, here's some contrived reasons why they hate each other.
Right.
Here's some even more contrived reasons why they no longer hate each other. All in one movie. Doesn't this work? And that's where having someone like Zack Snyder, I think he just doesn't understand those sorts of like subtleties of tone that I think you need to make things like that work. Because at the end of the day, the plots are always kind of nonsensical. Like, they never really hang together. And so
No.
It's only by, like, really buying into the characters that you're willing to kind of suspend disbelief.
Well,
And, like,
that was something else that I really liked about Civil War was that they really didn't solve the issue. You know, they only made it worse.
oh, yeah, not at all.
You know, they like, and that's the same thing that Black Widow was saying the whole time. She kept saying to both of them, you know, hey, look, if you guys continue this is just going to end up worse. By the end of this, you're just going to be nuts.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that this guy, the main bad guy in this in Civil War, was just a guy just trying to get them to feel the same pain. Like, he wasn't interested in destroying the world or anything. He was just wanting these two guys to feel the pain that he felt, and that was it. And I thought it was
I
brilliant.
That was pretty well done.
By the way,
So,
big.
wait, so that guy, that's not like a comic character? Like
No,
a
no, no.
game,
No.
No,
Nemo or whatever?
Oh, well, Zemo.
Zemo is, yeah.
That's a Captain America villain.
But
But no, like, real connection, really.
no, it was just more like a
Not in
callback.
that
It was more of like a callback. That's it. And I thought, I can't think of the guy's that actor's name. I should really look that up because
Yeah, he's familiar.
he was in was it Drive or Driven? That had Thor in it. It was Thor and him. I don't know, the one that was directed by Rob.
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
Race
he
car
played
movie.
Nicky Lauda.
Niki Lauda.
Rush.
And I thought, yeah, Rush. That's what. And I thought that he was fantastic in that movie.
I agree. He was awesome.
And he really did it justice again in this character. I mean, like, again, like, just the scene where he's, you know, he's on the rock at the very end with Black Panther out there, and he's just talking about his family, you know? It was so emotional, and you could just read it on his face, and you're like, dude, you really can't blame this guy for, like, what he was trying to do. Like, you can't,
Oh yeah.
like, I didn't feel like, I didn't say, oh man, he's a bad guy. I was like, this guy's just got some troubling issues that he's trying to deal with, and that was the best way he could figure out to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And
I like that guy a lot.
so he did a great job. I mean, and that's the thing. That's the Russo brothers as directors. It seems like they actually care about the stuff that they're dealing with. You know, they care about the characters. They care about the story and where it's going. You know.
Yeah, where did those guys come from?
Um,
Like, what the movies that
you know what? I don't know what the Russo brothers did. Let me take a look. Cover me here, Luke, and I'll take that. I'll take a look at that.
they sure.
So
Yeah,
let's
no,
take a
because they clearly, yeah, they know what they're the right guys for a job like this.
So I'm looking up their IMDb right now. So they did Winter Soldier, obviously, Civil War. They did You, Me, and Dupree. What the heck?
Really?
Yeah,
That's that
Really?
Owen Wilson movie, right?
yeah. And then, what else? Community. They were part of Community. Holy cow. Well, that makes sense.
Really? Comedy guys. Comedy guys are I'm telling you, comedy guys are the best guys in this movie.
You know what? You're absolutely right. Look at Tom
Yeah,
Hanks.
I
Look at Tom Hanks, because like everyone says, it's harder to act comedy out, and it's easier to do the drama and everything else. And it
Yeah,
shows. It really shows.
Well, and you guys have probably heard me say this before, but like, I feel like the original Iron Man. I know people like it and think it's good, but like, I don't think that movie gets enough credit for just how good it is, and like how like a lot of the like the Marvel Cinematic Universe as we know it, might not exist today if like that movie hadn't been so good when they made it and like made all that money.
Oh, there's no
And
question.
like,
Yeah.
and like, so I think like, Robert Downey Jr. and Jon Favreau, who obviously is a guy who comes out of comedy,
Yep.
to direct that movie. Like, if they hadn't both killed it so hard, like, it's weird to think like things might like blockbuster culture in America might be completely different right now.
You know, I completely agree. I think Jon Favreau as a director is fantastic because he lets the actors take it to a different place than than he would normally take it. Because he's a very improv director. Like he says, look, this is generally what we want to do here. If you guys decide to wing it, we'll go with it. Kind of like Quentin Tarantino, right? Quentin Tarantino will let his actors kind of go at it, and see what happens. And that's kind of what Favreau did for Iron Man. And I agree. Iron Man is still one of my favorite movies for Marvel.
There's for your
It's still my number one. Like, I just got to give credit to the OG, and like, I just think like whatever they're paying Robert Downey Jr., like it's not enough. Like they could pay him $100 million a movie, and like for like I just think like he embodies that sort of combination of like gravity to do the serious stuff, but then levity. Like just tonally, he's so perfect.
Well, think about the risk that Marvel
The
did.
whole movie hangs together.
I mean, everyone right now kind of thinks, he was meant to play that role, etc. But think about the risk that Marvel played by getting him to play that role because that was his first major movie back from his drug issues, his
Yeah, for sure.
and he just absolutely nailed it. I mean, because he was Hollywood's golden boy up to what, 96, right? Somewhere in that neighborhood, 96, 97. And then
I
he
mean,
Yeah.
in a way, you can still say that he's meant to play that role. That's a lot of like Tony Stark, Golden Boy. Then
Oh, yeah.
Fucking Strong.
from the comics, you're talking about the comics there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm using
Well,
I'm
and
gonna pop.
It's one of those things where it's like in retrospect, you're like, oh yeah, of course, like it was meant to be. It always, it was meant to, like, it always should have been this way. But like, someone had to find it and cast it. And kind of like, yeah, we're gonna do this. So we all owe Jon Favreau. Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah, Jon Favreau really seems to have good taste. Like, he's made a lot of good movies.
Yeah.
He's a good actor.
Yeah, he's very funny.
So, on the scale for you guys, where do you see Civil War in the Marvel list then?
I would say it's probably my second favorite after Iron Man 1. I mean, I'm kind of in the first blush right now. I should probably wait a little bit before I make a proclamation like that. But I definitely up there in the top handful that I really think are
Now this is kind of interesting, and I'm not sure if my wife wants me to talk about it, but she brought it up to me, and she's said it to other people. But my wife did not like the movie at all.
Really?
Yeah, and So I want to bring up her point of view because I think it's fair to talk about other people's points of view in these things and go from there. Her point of view on this was that it was
No way, man.
one sequence of action to the next sequence of action, that there was little development in the movie. And so, like, I'm trying to think about that.
Can I ask, are there other Marvel movies she does like?
Okay, so she's a big fan of X-Men First Class. She loved X-Men First Class. I asked her what her favorite, and specifically because of this, because I knew that was going to be a question. I asked what was her favorite superhero movie, and she said X-Men First Class. And X-Men First Class is a very good movie, but also look at the director. Was that Guy Ritchie? No, it wasn't Guy Ritchie, was it?
I don't think so.
Who was it that?
Not Guy Ritchie.
I don't think it was Guy Ritchie either. Hold on a second. I just got to.
That's not done in his style anyway.
That's true. So let's
Guy
see.
Ritchie was too busy doing Sherlock Holmes.
That was kind of a fun movie too, by the way.
The Sherlock Holmes movies?
No, they're making a third one.
Oh yeah.
Fun. They were not.
Oh, Matthew Vaughn. That's why I mixed them up. Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah, Matt Vaughn. Yeah, you're right.
So, I can see. The more I think about it, I can understand her point of view about the whole one action sequence to the other, and it kind of bugged me because of how much I liked the movie. I was like, well, am I only liking this because of the action? You know, it was like kind of like a personal vendetta almost for me because it was how much I enjoyed it. Because I really value her opinion on movies and stuff like that. And so, kind of like want to throw that out to you guys. Like, what do you guys think? I mean, now if you think about it in those terms, do you see it the same way, or?
Well, you know what I will say, and this is like one of my pet peeves of these movies is I think there's entirely too much punching, like in these movies. Like, I just feel like there's so many long fights where heroes punch each other for an arbitrary amount of time until it's time for the movie over.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I can definitely see your wife's point of view in that I actually think there were like too many too long of action scenes in Civil War.
Mhm.
Like that would be one of my mild criticisms of it, or like something that would maybe prevent me from like saying it was my favorite. And so, you know, with so many action scenes and so many of them being pretty long, I can see how that might feel like it tips the balance of the movie. There were definitely like 3 or 4 action scenes in this movie where I like would have preferred they just cut to a title card and tell me who won the fight, and I could have like had the movie be 20 minutes shorter. You know, the exception being like the giant like set piece where they all fight each other. Like that shit was awesome.
Sure.
Bottom. But like, you know, a lot of like, you know, fucking Bucky breaks out of containment. You know, there's just gonna be like a lot of running around and punching for a while, but then you know he's gonna get away. So it's like, I don't know, it takes some time to. So I mean, in that sense, like I think it's completely valid to be like, oh god, like I'm sick of the action. But I think for this movie, like I thought there was some pretty strong kind of debate and like philosophical differences between the characters that I thought worked well.
I see that. So my point of view on the whole battle thing. So like my view, my counter to it was more of a. I never felt like any of the battles weren't meant to be, meaning that it was set up properly. It wasn't like, oh, let's just have these two guys fight right now. You know, it was meant to be. You know, and so that's the like. I never felt like the fights were out of place. You know.
Well,
Yeah. No, I didn't feel
think,
like they were out of place either. It was just like they each could have been a
retreat
little shorter.
to Erlon.
Yeah.
For me, I guess my comment on that, the number of fights didn't bother me. I think my favorite part of the movie was probably that set piece, like
Yeah.
where they're all fighting at the hangar. Not so much because of the battle, but because there was so much humor in that part of it.
Yes, it was.
Right.
Yeah, there was some great humor
And
in
that
that
was
one.
that was some of my favorite stuff. And so I guess I would say I wish there had been more humor. Not necessarily that I wish there was less fighting, just that there had been more humor.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of what is always kind of like I've never been a big like Bucky Winter Soldier fan.
Oh, I see. I love
And it's
Bucky.
just because I think like there's just to me like his character he's got weird brain damage or whatever and doesn't talk much, and like Cap's always really serious about saving him, and so it's like there's not as much opportunity for like fun banter
No rules.
as there is when
Servant of
Spider-Man
Oryx.
is webbing Anthony Mackie to the
Paul
floor.
Rudd.
And Paul Rudd, and like, oh dude, the scene where Spider-Man like ties up Bucky and Falcon and Bucky could have done that 10 minutes ago, and Falcon, the Anthony Mackie,
Yeah,
I thought that was great.
that was hilarious. I agree with you. I was.
Yeah, no,
and I
all
wish
the
there had been
Spider-Man
more of
banter
that.
was super great. Yeah, no, I mean Paul, like,
I see. Now that's kind of taking me to my spot. Like for me, Paul Rudd stole the movie. Like I liked him more than Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I thought he was just absolutely. Oh man, I'm missing all my shots there.
I was just worried about how Spider-Man was going to be. I feel like he's been rebooted so many times. I was really quite negative about the prospect of them rebooting him again.
Right.
And so I was pleasantly surprised. I knew nothing of the kid who's playing him. What's his name? Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew nothing of him,
So,
but I was very pleased.
now-
Although, fucking Marissa Tomei and Aunt May, I don't know about that.
Dude, but what about all the jokes that they made about that? The fact that she was so young
Well,
and
I'm glad they did, because at first, to be honest with you, when they walk in,
you're a little low right now. Can you bring your mic a little closer?
he says, "Hey May," and I thought, "Oh, Aunt May, all right." And then I'm looking, and Tony Stark is talking to this young lady. And, did you say Mary Jane? Did I mishear? You know?
That's a good compliment for Marissa Tomei. Yeah,
Marissa Tomei's
Tomei
kinda
has like
hot.
real on-
Yeah, that's a definite yes on that one.
But like, so wait, I have a question. Forgive me for not knowing this. So they're making a new Sony movie and a new Spider-Man again. And then is this the new
This is the
Spider-Man?
kid.
for the
This
Sony?
is yeah, this is the new kid. And so
Okay,
Sony
like
and Marvel
Sony and
have, like,
Marvel are
partnered
like
up.
working together.
so the way it
I
works
guess,
is
I think Suzanne was telling me Tony Stark's gonna be in,
yes.
like Downey Jr.'s gonna be in Sony's movie, right?
Yes. So
I've heard that, yeah.
the way it's working is that basically Marvel has complete creative control over the movie. So Sony can't decide what actually goes into the movie, I guess. But Sony's the one that reaps all the benefits of it. So like they get all the money, but Marvel gets the rights to direct them and have them in their movies. And I can't remember how the merchandising works. I think there is a deal with the merchandising as well.
Yeah,
but
dude.
but basically it was a win-win for Sony. Like no matter what happens, Sony makes money.
Marvel, I feel like Marvel needs to buy back all the rights from all the other studios.
The problem is they've been doing such a good job making. The problem is they've been making so much money as is with their movies that everyone else wants to emulate them. You know.
Yes, but the become problem
Yes, but it's correct.
because so their issue is if you're an actual comics fan, and I have this on good authority. I have a friend who's like a DC Comics artist, and like word on the street is like Marvel Comics is like wants to stop making new X-Men comics in order to starve Fox of material, so they can't make any more for new X-Men movies, and thus will like give the rights back to like studios, which is an unbelievably fucked up thing.
You know, I feel like I heard that.
I heard that too, but I don't know if that's true. Because X-Men is such a integral part to Marvel, I just can't see them doing that.
Well, and it would be a long play to like get the
Yes,
and I
it's
just
very-
like
yeah.
the idea that comics fans would suffer because of like pissing contest over movie rights makes me kind of sad.
I don't know that. I mean, the number of people who go to see these movies, I would imagine, I don't know, but I would have to imagine far outweighs the number of people
That read the
who
comics.
go to the goddamn comic book store.
Oh
and
God,
buy,
by a factor of 100.
Yeah, I mean the amount of people that say things like the amount of my students alone that don't know the difference between Marvel and DC is mind-boggling, you know. So I mean that's just saying something on its own.
Well, and to be honest, I'm kind of one of those really casual who like watch movies and like I'm
You
like
filthy
vaguely
casual.
familiar with some of the superhero comics. And there's a few comics I read, but not really superhero comics. But you know, when I was younger, I used to read a lot of X-Men and X-Force and stuff. And so I don't know, it just makes me a little sad if that's like the comics industry is sort of at this spot where it's been kind of like strip mined by movie studios, and it's like kind of like isn't really solvent on its own. I just feel like that's kind of sad.
Wow, 42.
Victory.
Well,
Well
the good thing is you'll have these situations where you have the bad, but you also have the situations where you have the good. Like, you know, look at Fox and Deadpool. Marvel would have never allowed an R-rated Deadpool
Yeah.
because of Disney.
That's true.
Not that
Dude, Deadpool's
not
a big,
not
big
that
success story.
not that Disney's been doing a poor job with Marvel and Star Wars. In fact, I think they've been doing a fantastic job with it. I just think a lot of the Disney bean counters would have said, "Look, we limit the market if we do an R-rated movie," and so they wouldn't have allowed for a Deadpool R-rated movie.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. Maybe by kind of like spinning off like different kind of like grades to different studios with different tastes, maybe there is a chance for more stuff to get made that wouldn't otherwise, like from like Mothership, Disney, Marvel. That's a good point.
And so I don't mind it, especially when you have situations like I'll give you one, like the Fantastic Four. Like I
Steve, did
think
you just get a 335 Ghost?
I got a 334.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You know, situations like the Fantastic Four where it's been mishandled 4 times now.
Oh, horribly.
So
Four?
poorly.
4?
It's 4 times, right? 3 movies? No, 3 times. 3
Are
times.
we counting?
No,
are
4
we counting
times.
David Hasselhoff?
No, we're gonna count the '80s one
was
that
that a
they.
Shield thing?
Do you remember? Do you remember the '80s one that was never released?
Yes, we are.
Did you ever watch that? It had the.
Yeah, I didn't actually watch it, but I remember seeing something about
So that here's something interesting, and I don't know if it was Fox. I'm pretty sure it's Fox, but Fox had the rights to the Fantastic Four, and they had to create a movie. Even if they weren't going to show it, they just had to make a movie to keep the rights. And so what they did was they made a cheap ass version, and it was horrible. It was horrible. It had the guy that was the android from Disney. Do you remember that when you guys were kids? Like the kid
of elders
that was an android.
welcomes you.
I think it was called Almost Human.
Not regard.
Oh, I think it was called Almost Human.
Really?
Let's see. I think it was called Almost Human.
Wasn't called Small Wonder.
No, not.
I remember Small Wonder.
Yes. Oh, Not Quite
Webster?
Human.
Talking about Webster?
The movie is called Not Quite Human.
Webster.
So it was called Not Quite Human.
No, I have no idea. I'm not familiar.
Okay, so that look that up on YouTube and enjoy that for yourselves.
Minotaur.
It was pretty bad. Oh, so we can just rip through this. Let's just take them out. Ooh, I'm gonna get trapped. So yeah, I mean, you know, we've been kind of jumping into other things in this review, but I think it kind of all kind of ties in together with kind of how Marvel's been handling things compared to DC. But it's funny because I think DC has been handling their TV shows better than Marvel. I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a very, I mean, it has its moments, but it's not as good as Arrow and Flash to me. And it has, and Arrow and Flash have a
I
way
like
smaller
Flash
budget.
better. Arrow's, yeah, Arrow. Some of the relationship nonsense that goes on in Arrow, I really don't care for.
But that's because you're a meathead and you don't like that kind of stuff.
You prefer there was just more bench pressing?
Well, clearly, dude, my favorite part's when he does fucking pull-ups.
And the fact that he actually does it's pretty impressive.
Actually, my favorite part are all the flashback scenes. But that's not the point.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a later
just-
date. I think we should do
like-
that as a separate review. But yeah, it's kind of funny how Marvel does such a great job with their TVs, or I mean their movies, but I don't think they know how to handle their TV series. And it looks like they've canceled, what's it called? The
Shield spinoff.
the Shield spinoff. Yeah. After they just removed them from a show
Oh,
too,
but then on the other hand, like Daredevil on Netflix is pretty good.
but it's not.
Yeah, they're doing a great job with that.
Yeah, that's. But I don't feel like that's. I feel like it's separate. I don't think that's the same thing. You know.
Well,
Yeah, you're right. Well, no, it's not. Yeah, it depends on
Not
kind of
Netflix.
sold to and who's creating. But I mean, they could. It's all the same. Like they could hire the same people that are making Netflix to make a show for network TV. I think maybe more about the taste of the networks themselves when you're showing the shows. You know, the DC shows you're talking about that you like are like all CW shows, right?
Yeah, which is weird. Which is weird. And I'm not a big fan of Supergirl. So there you go.
Oh yeah, see, so you know, maybe just like comics content and major networks are not a good match for whatever reason.
I do think that DC does overall done a better job with their cartoons.
Cartoons,
Well,
yes. The cartoon series have been
yeah, I mean-
fantastic.
Marvel, outside of 90s X-Men and 90s Spider-Man, I think most of their cartoon, even if they show promise, they just don't keep them around long enough. Like there's that show Wolverine and the X-Men. It was on like Nickelodeon, I think, back in like late 2000s.
Right.
Really?
2008 maybe.
I was not aware of that.
That was a pretty good. I mean, you know, good. And they did one season and left you with plenty to want for a
They
second
are
season, and they just never did anything with
You
it.
And which is funny because you bring up X-Men, early 90s X-Men, you bring up early 90s Spider-Man, which were fantastic. I enjoyed them as kids. As a kid, I loved those shows. But
Yeah.
to me, it was nowhere near as great as Batman, the Batman Adventures,
Well, Batman, the animated series.
the animated series. It was that was a cut above.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was the best.
it dealt with real storylines from the things, and it's the only time that I can think of. It was the only time I can think of where a cartoon series actually influenced the comics, because you had Harley
was a
Quinn.
Harley Quinn.
Get introduced to the comics.
particular,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Harley
that-
Quinn was originally from the animated show.
Yep.
Yep.
Really? Huh,
Yep.
That's an interesting factoid. I did not know that.
And then you see, and and this kind of, and I think we should kind of end with this, as we're tailing off here with
round two.
what is this? Elders, competition of elders, or Psylocke the Defiler. But I worry about Suicide Squad.
Psylocke, the Defiler.
Really? I gotta say, man, I think that trailer looks kind of fun. I'm willing to be hopeful for that movie. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be good. I am looking forward to it.
I'll tell you the reason I worry about it is because of the fact that they had to go back and do a bunch of reshoots based upon the fact that the trailers were so responsive because how funny they were. Frightens me.
Yeah. But maybe it got better.
It's my
That
hope.
happens.
It's my hope.
I did. I was pretty down on Jared Leto when I saw that picture that came out of him, and it looked like he should work at Hot Topic.
I still do. I'm still down on them.
But I thought once I saw him in the trailer and saw the way that he was acting and heard his voice, I have more hope for it than I did.
Oh, I think he'll probably.
I'm not a big Jared Leto fan. I sat through Prefontaine, and
Dude, what about My So-Called Life? That show's amazing.
Yeah, but he wasn't the reason why it was good. It was the reason it was good. It was because of Claire Danes.
No.
Okay, the
Jared
reason
Leto
the
was the
reason we watched My So-Called Life was because of Claire Danes. And if you were watching for any other reason, you were wrong. You what?
I have never.
My middle school girlfriend watched it. That's why I watched it.
Oh, sure, that's it. Whatever, meathead.
Yeah, I wanted to touch her boobies in middle school. That was about as good as it got in middle school. At least for me. I don't know. Some people, I'm sure, will get laid and stuff, but I don't know. That's not me.
In middle school?
Watching Claire Danes.
Yeah, dude, it happens.
It does happen, unfortunately. We've consistently kept 2 people on our stream, which is kind of funny.
Probably me and Suzanne.
It is Suzanne and Jake. Suzanne still got it on in there. I can hear it.
Is she agreeing with us? You should scream out to her and see if she agrees with our comments here.
Yeah.
But okay, any like final stuff that you guys want to talk about with Civil War? Anything that we missed?
I still don't like Spider-Man's mask with weird eyes. I know they tried to explain it with like heightened senses, and that's why he wanted to wear the goggles. It's like a cheap mask, but
So you didn't like the way his eyes were sort of like.
But it's so much more like the comics, though. That's like totally like the comics.
I didn't like that either, Jamie. I didn't think it worked in live action. I did think it kind of worked in Deadpool when they did it. So I can't figure out why I felt like it worked there, but here.
Deadpool was just like so over the top, and that was kind of like the whole idea and the point of it.
The gratuitous sex scene
So
in
that's why
Deadpool.
things that can work in Deadpool, because of the
Yeah, that's-
absurdity of it, and you're watching Deadpool. I mean, you know, he gets stabbed in the head, and then he starts making like lumpy hands at her.
That's fair.
Sex, any outy sex thing. It's just, I mean, that's my own perspective. I'm not saying.
No, that's true.
Certainly not fact.
Suzanne just came out and maybe she likes your misgivings about Aunt May being fuckable. She wants to punch that weird.
Alright, cool.
Those were her exact words.
Right? I mean, like, I don't feel like I should have seen Aunt May's boobies in that movie, The Wrestling.
Wait, what movie?
Yeah, I
What
don't
movie
know.
were you talking about?
I had a hard time wrestling.
Oh, that's right, Wrestler.
Enemies die.
I don't
You
know. Like,
live.
Aunt May, I don't feel like I should have ever seen Aunt May's boobs.
Retreat
Yeah,
to
so funny.
Fairlawn.
Yeah, Suzanne's first reaction
She's
was
certainly
like, who's Uncle Ben gonna be?
spend time.
Bradley Cooper?
I certainly feel like Aunt May wouldn't spend time with Joe Pesci. There's no question.
That's pretty funny.
But, I mean,
yeah,
overall,
no,
it was very good. More humor. Put it over the top for me.
I'm looking forward to more. It'll be fun to see. Like, I guess are they all gonna come together in like Infinity War?
Yeah, what I like,
Including, like Guardians of the Galaxy
they've
people.
they're
It's
gonna
just
have
be
to.
everybody.
I don't know about the Guardians of the Galaxy
There's gonna
people.
be so many fucking people in that movie.
I don't know about the Guardians of the Galaxy people, but they've definitely said that all the Cap.
Oh, I bet they bring in Chris Pratt.
Well, they'll bring in Chris Pratt, but I don't think they're gonna bring in like Batista and everyone.
Another thing,
Noruisk, servant
another thing I
of
complain about
Oryx.
movies is that they like take comedians and make them like new them. But yeah, Paul Rudd is so good as Ant-Man that I kind of have to back off that hardline stance. I like as kind of Paul Rudd being Ant-Man.
No, that's part of the movie for me.
Man.
Oh, that was amazing.
So good. And when he calls Hawkeye Arrow guy,
Yeah.
or Arrow Man or whatever, so good.
Or, I like when he's in the prison and Tony Stark is walking by and he's talking shit to Tony Stark. He goes, I don't know who you are, or I don't know you, or whatever. He just looks so dejected.
Yeah, come on, man. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, well, the way they committed to like giant Ant-Man, like building that entire action
Oh,
sequence
yeah.
around that was pretty great.
Oh, that was, and unfortunately, it got ruined to me, that scene, because of the Lego sets.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm so glad I had no idea. I knew he was in it.
Oh, I
but
didn't
beyond
notice
that.
that. There were Lego sets about it.
Yeah, there was a Lego set that was released that showed it, and I was kind of upset
Goliath,
about
or
it.
whatever they call them when they make themselves big.
Say that again? You're low.
What's his code name when they make him big?
Giant Man.
Instead of Ant-Man, it's like
Giant Man.
Goliath or something.
No, it's Giant Man. It's Giant Man. No, Giant. Just Giant.
Alright. Terrible. Terrible code. Maybe the worst code name of all time. Giant Man. Sandwich eating man.
Not much better than Ant-Man.
So what's the next movie we're gonna
I don't know. I think we should go a little. There's nothing really that's coming out for a while. I think we should go a little bit more old school.
There's a
Like Old Boy?
Yeah, we can do Old Boy. That's a good idea. There's a
would be
Wachowski
great to
brothers,
do it.
I guess Wachowski sisters film festival retrospective going on at the Alamo Draft House this month.
What
So,
movie?
Sort of considering going to they're all brothers. But I'm thinking about going maybe to a Matrix trilogy marathon, which would be such a mistake because I absolutely hate the second two.
Oh, I hate 2 and 3. I love the first one, but I can't stand 2 and 3.
The second one I enjoyed. The third one I just thought, Jesus Christ, guys, it doesn't have to be just
Ooh.
like Dragon Ball Z at the end.
Ooh.
You don't need to recreate a Dragon Ball Z fight scene. I know you're inspired by anime, but
I don't know. I'm not. I think the
I also
Wachowski
kinda wanna
brothers.
see, have you guys seen Speed Racer?
What was that?
I don't think I've ever
Speed
seen
Racer?
it.
Oh, I like
Dude,
Speed
that
Racer.
movie is underrated.
I like Speed Racer.
It's like a
Seriously?
little bit too long, but yes, honestly, like the cast is so good, and like some of the action is like I've never seen anything like it. It's seriously, I recommend it. It's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Alright, who's Racer X? Oh, don't tell me, it's probably a surprise.
I'm willing to do a review of Speed Racer X. I mean Speed Racer.
Oh, did you just give it away? Is Racer X Speed Racer? How is that? Is
No.
it from the future? That's gotta be what it is. I'm
Hey,
sorry.
that's how.
I solved it. There it is, movie review. There's time travel, and I didn't care for it.
Or what else? What other options we have? There's nothing really new coming out in the short term.
Really?
That'd probably be something like really fucked up, like Old Boy or The Audition.
God, dude, we can't do anything catching UK. Too crazy. Though Suzanne would probably be better than that. She would. Her and all her fancy pants film school friends or whatever back in the day.
Ooh, yeah, exotic. Better be a heavy, goddammit.
Your
Boots,
victory
fuck you, Bungie.
tells the tale.
Well, so are we making a decision, or are we just gonna surprise our viewers, our 2 viewers that have been watching here, and one of them being Jamie?
Yeah,
Well,
I don't
it's
think
just
we
me
can
now.
decide right now.
So, well, guys, that's it. That's the first episode of.
Is this gonna archive?
Yeah, this is gonna archive.
YouTube?
This will archive.
Oh, sweet. People
So,
can go back someday. They're gonna go back and see where it all started.
yes, and they're gonna say, "Wow,
how
these
bad
guys
it
are.
was.
They were bad now, and they're even worse then."
I didn't drink enough whiskey, I think, was part of my problem.
I've been enjoying
It's hard
drinking.
on a Monday. You don't want to drink too much whiskey on a Monday.
You guys are missing out. I've had this awesome growler. I've had an awesome growler. So,
Oh, I'm jealous. I don't have any beer in the house right now.
Give me a Drake's promise. Fuck you, Bungie.
all
Wait,
right,
no, it doesn't come till you go to orbit.
all right. So I'm gonna sign off on here. Have good night,
Good night,
guys. And I'm gonna stay. I'll stay on the with you guys, but I'll just sign off on here.